Hey, welcome everybody. This is John Palmedocci, Dr. Speed Selling, and you are joining us here on the Raging Verbalist. If you're watching us on YouTube, welcome. If it's your first time, welcome, welcome. If you've been coming back more and more, glad to see you again. Make sure that you hit that like button. That always helps. We're trying to get our numbers up, if you will. Also subscribe. That would always help. And if you want to get notifications, well, do that too. I find it annoying, but I just thought I would say it because you're supposed to say it. Also, if you go to our Facebook group, which is Position to Win Book, and you can check it out there. Also, you can go to positiontowinbook.com and find a bunch of cool free stuff and everything. So this is Raging Verbalist number 162, just to say it again. And with me, as always, is the ever lovely Sandra. And Sandra, welcome.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Doing well, frustrated with technology, but hanging in there, and by the way, all of you out there, if I freeze up, every time I freeze up, if you want to play a drinking game, we have no responsibility for alcohol toxicity problems. So that's just, that isn't me just trying to do my, trying to practice mime. It is the fact that this thing does what it does and we're still fighting it. So, okay, Sandra, what is our topic? Like that one, huh? Okay.
That's right.
You ready? Got to have a little laugh when you're dealing with these kind of painful situations.
That's right.
So what is our topic today? What are we talking about?
All right, we're talking about FTX. So what is FTX and who is Sam Bankman-Fried?
Well, we're going to just call them SBFs, so that way it's easier to do it. Anybody's got a hyphenated name like that, we got to contract a little bit, but FTX is really a crypto exchange. It kind of came out of nowhere, rose to prominence in just a few short years, and became the third largest crypto exchange. And what I see that they really did is that they exploited the fact that buying crypto is like nearly impossible for the average person. And when you have all of these teeming millennials and Gen Zers and all of these that want to invest, and they can't stand not being part of it, that he offered an easy way. It was supposedly for beginners and advanced traders that he would create this exchange similar to like having a stock exchange. So, and I understand why there was a need in the market, because the first time I ever heard about Bitcoin, I thought, well, that's fascinating. Maybe I'll throw $1,000 into it. And I couldn't find a way to buy it. I just couldn't find a way to get it. I have to say I didn't work too hard at it, but anything that's a barrier, there's a business opportunity. So that's the lesson, not the bad stuff that ends up coming out, but the lesson is ease of use, ease of access to a market is always a good business strategy.
Right. And how is this tied into cryptocurrency?
Well, what he discovered, of course, is that there are hundreds and hundreds of different cryptocurrencies out there. And because there's so many different cryptocurrencies, most people can't trade them, find them, buy them, do anything with them. So what you want to do is you say, well, look, you just list your cryptocurrency with us. We're this cool exchange and we understand technology. And now you can really start, moving your crypto around. Remember that there are hundreds of different cryptocurrencies. In fact, there's a website that just tracks the top 100. So it's a mind-boggling number of cryptocurrencies, and it was tied into, if you will, an umbrella location, so you could go get everything that you ever wanted at one place.
And FTX has been out there. So what is your take on what's going on?
Well, clearly his stated objectives of creating this unbiased, we're not going to be on both sides of the fence kind of thing. So if you go to a normal stock exchange, whether it's the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, which is called the over-the-counter, when you go to that, the people who run the exchange aren't also speculating on the stocks that they're doing. They're the honest broker, if you will. What they ended up doing was starting to play on both sides and creating other companies so they could be on all sides of this. Lots of questionable behavior on that. And, the fact that they collapsed and fell apart is somewhat of a surprise because they had such great momentum. In fact, one of the stocks that I invested in, which is now down 90 something plus percent, which was, working to help promote crypto in a variety of places. I don't usually, once I miss that initial oomph, I like to invest in companies that do it. Well, they got sucked into the whole FTX thing because that's who was going to be their clearinghouse for all of these things. And it was a great idea. Right now it's looking like it never really was going to happen that way. And what he did was he was using it for other purposes.
So does FTX prove that there is something inherently wrong with crypto?
I would say no, because to me, when somebody says that this is like Bernie Madoff or this is like some other scam, this is basically a guy who realized that he was looking at lots and lots of money. And whenever there's lots of money, there's a strong appeal. There's an allure to do things with it, even if it's not your money. And, you gotta say, oh, there's, temptation. I don't, maybe I should touch it. Maybe I shouldn't touch it. And to me, what it does is that when people conflate that crypto and FTX are inexorably linked, in the end, I think it will be proven that FTX really was more of a scam than truly an exchange. It wasn't set up as an exchange. It may have been thought of as an exchange, but it really wasn't an exchange. It wasn't doing what everybody thought it was going to do. It really wasn't going, and it wasn't set up in that way. So it turns out that it really was more the scam than, in fact, the what he had always talked about. So, in my opinion, as long as we don't have people who conflate it and screw things up, it shouldn't really be seen that way. Now, I'm not surprised that happened because, again, people want to buy easy. They want the easy button. They want to have a place to go. And if somebody has a great story, they can do that. So what he ended up doing in a negative way is some of the things that we talk about in the book. And the book is, of course, most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and wherever books are sold. You can also go to positionwinbook.com. But what you can do is that this talks about positioning. So he accurately positioned himself as the easy solution. And by doing that, he had people who got pulled into that because, hey, if you have some kind of oddball cryptocurrency that you get some kind of internet, you see somebody tells you through some, stack or something that you should go get that. Where do you go to get it? I mean, now you're faced with what I was faced with when I was trying to buy Bitcoin. So that's, in that regard, he did that. The stealing the money and really not setting it up, that's not the way to do it. But check out the book. You can also get it on Kindle, and you can get it on Barnes & Noble Nook and Apple iBooks. So check that out. Also, we have a book called Remote Work for a Better World, only available exclusively on the Kindle, Amazon Kindle. So, yeah, interesting because he did a lot of right positioning things, even though he was a scammer, but he did a lot of right positioning things.
And what were some of the things he did to put him in a position to raise this amount of money?
Well, one of the biggest things he did, which most businesses won't do, and I am always surprised when I'm working with clients and they don't put any effort or any energy into it, is that he understood that third-party endorsement, getting people to say, hey, SBF is a good guy, and this guy is, all of this. And, and we'll go into some more detail in a moment, but what he did was he literally started getting people to show up and talk about this in a very positive way. And let's face it, humans want to have that, what's called social proof. And that social proof absolutely drives home the idea it's got to be good or they wouldn't be interested in it or they wouldn't be doing things. So in that regard, he put himself in a position and he built up an entire whole story around it. The other thing that he did was that he picked causes that he supposedly believes in. I'm going to raise and turn this into billions of dollars. Maybe I'm going to be the first trillionaire, but I'm going to give away $1 billion a year for all these worthy causes. And, and he had, you look at the litany of causes that he had. I'm not going to tell you whether I like them or not like them, but I'm going to tell you that this is tugging at people's heartstrings. So when somebody says, well, I'm going to go do business with somebody, they get pulled into that because those are those great causes. Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you go and put with this guy? Because this guy, he's going to be, he's buying into the entire woke agenda. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe in that from this standpoint. I want people who understand money to help me make more money. What I do with my money is another thing. What they do with their money is a different thing. But when you start to pull those two together, so that's how he created a great magnetic field and pulled people in, was all of those things, as he positioned himself as the great benefactor for all these causes. Why wait until I'm old to do it? I'll do it when I'm young, and I'll do it when I'm energetic, and I'll get all kinds of exciting publicity, which he did. And the media loved it.
And how did he get so many celebrities and influencers so excited about what he was doing?
I would love to know the inside story about this, but I think part of it was the causes that he supported started to get him noticed, and then he started flashing cash. So now we're back to, over the years, people have asked me because of my days in Vegas, John, how do you get in the VIP line? And I will tell you the secret of that right now. So don't think that you're not going to get to that point. And if you want to get in the VIP line, it is called cash. It is called money. If you give people money, they will do things. They will, not even look at some of the, things behind the curtain. So he started getting all these celebrities, and then he started giving celebrities lots and lots and lots of money. I mean, to have a video of him with, Tom Brady flies to the Bahamas and hangs out with this guy. I mean, okay, I got it. Now everybody gets excited, especially when the numbers get really big. And that's the key. When the numbers get big, people get really excited. And also he started giving lots and lots of people money. By the way, all of those celebrity endorsers who are now in the hot seat, they have a certain culpability in a way, because they have convinced the masses who lost a lot of money. I mean, make no mistake, a lot of money is gone missing, never to be seen again. And they lost it because, people went, yeah, well, this has got to be the right thing to do. And away you go. Same thing with getting the Bahamian government to, open up their arms because they want ways to get people to bring money. This guy understood that weakness in what they're trying to get done. And when I say weakness, is that there's a human weakness that if somebody comes up and offers you help, sometimes you don't want to ask a lot of questions.
And you said you had revealed the biggest mistake he made. So what was that mistake?
Well, he had kind of a unique lifestyle, polyamorous. I don't need to know the details of it, but he had his girlfriend who then started another company, and he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lend you $1 billion so you can go trade it. Now, again, if you're building an exchange, you can't be on all sides of the transaction because, well, then you got a dog in every fight, and now you got to decide which way you're going to put the thumb on the scale. So his biggest mistake is he didn't marry her. Now, whether they were ever going to get married or not, but she rolled over like we've had very happy dogs that took more effort to make them roll over, because she rolled over on this guy and said, okay, I'm pleading guilty and I'm going to do that. And the biggest mistake he made is he didn't marry her, because if he married her, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to tell you, if he married her, it'd be a lot harder for them to have her basically indict him, which is what really happened. And so to me, that's his biggest mistake. I know some of you are out there groaning a little bit, but I'm telling you, you got to think these things through. If you're going to be that kind of criminal mastermind, maybe you should have married her, put a ring on that finger, and block the feds from being able to use that, because it didn't take long for her and somebody else to just go, boop, done. Oh yeah, he's a crook. Don't send me to jail. I'll help you put him in jail.
And are you surprised about his bail situation?
Well, yeah, it's interesting, because when I heard that they had asked for a $250 million bail, and for those of you who have never been in this situation, I hope you never do, is that how a bail situation, no matter what the bail is, you have to have a bail bondsman, Anyway, you need to have somebody who will put up the bail. And to put up the bail means you have to come up with 10% of whatever the bail number is normally. So that would be $25 million. Now, when he said in an interview that he was down to his last 100,000, I mean, as soon as he said that, I'm sure there were people out there saying, oh, if you put in a GoFundMe page, we're going to help this guy, you know, out of his tough jam here. But what ended up happening was, of course, that they put up the they said $250 million. Now, it is interesting because I think that this is where we have a little grandstanding on the Fed side, because they will not release the details of who put up the money, how much money, and what was going to happen. So I was very surprised about that bail situation, and understand that usually these numbers are put up primarily because it helps grab publicity. It's a little bit like movies. You know, it's $100 million movie. It costs us $100 million to do this movie, which, you know, I'm always questioning that, because, you know, when I went to the 2-day film school, as he said, the only two people who know what the film really costs is God and the IRS, because nobody else is going to tell you the truth. So I'm just going to tell you that I think that was a pumped up number, and it sounds like he got, you know, a kind of an interesting step around. But, you know, $250 million sounds a lot better than, you know, a couple million.
And given his situation, is there a double standard for what's happening to him versus other people?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, the guy should be in a jumpsuit. You know, anybody who does that should be in a jumpsuit and be in custody. But, you know, he's hanging out at his parents' house, which it appears that he gave, lent, or facilitated his parents buying their multi-million-dollar house. But they're all politically connected. So he's hanging out there probably with an ankle bracelet and, you know, wondering, you know, when the DoorDash guy is going to show up and bring the meals and all the rest of that. So I think it's an absolute double standard, considering how many people are in jail for much more minor. I'm not condoning criminals, but I'm just saying that it is amazing that a guy can steal upwards of $1 billion, maybe more than $1 billion, and he's sitting at home with mom, you know, eating, you know, Frosted Flakes, or, well, he actually should be eating Lucky Charms, because he's definitely getting a charmed life on this thing. And though he has pleaded innocent, pretty classic case. You know, it's you know, kind of surprising to me that there is such an apparent double standard. But of course, the U.S. attorneys say, well, he's not a flight risk. Well, I don't know. Everybody, when they start seeing the not pearly gates, but the gates of the jail, start to wonder about how resolved they are to stick around. So yeah, I think there's an absolute double standard, and I think it's a pretty lousy thing to do, because frankly, all those people who put money into it, who lost all their money, and by the way, his girlfriend, you know, and all that, they offered, and we could actually do a whole thing about that, which is how to make sure you don't get ripped off. But when you look at the offering, which we have captured that, I have that, and I've archived it, you know, what she said in that document, what they said in that document, that alone should get them busted, because literally they were saying, listen, we're guaranteeing you a rate of return that was ridiculous, and but we're guaranteeing it. Those are the words. So that's that to me, it's a sad case, because they should definitely do something to him.
And where do you think this is all going to go?
Well, I think there's probably going to be some regulation in crypto. I think that he's going to work his way through the system. I have no doubt that he's going to end up going and doing some time. The money is gone. They now have, you know, a receiver, because they went into bankruptcy, and maybe that guy will get some of the money back. They did on Bernie Madoff, but not a lot. But they'll get some money back. By the way, that whoever is that receiver, that law firm is going to make a pretty penny. You know, those guys are like, you know, picking out vacation homes and, you know, Lake Como and all of that stuff. But I think where it's going to go is that it's going to alter what people think about crypto, and it could potentially make crypto much less effective than it would have possibly been. I think that first off, blockchain, if you don't know what that is, you should go learn about that. But blockchain is absolutely real, and crypto in and of itself has come out of that kind of technology. So I think that's going to continue going on. And it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. Surprisingly enough, all of these people who are heavy duty into the green agenda do not realize how much energy is consumed to mine crypto, because you literally have to mine it in server farms. So there's a lot of energy that's consumed. So all of his take of, making the world a better place, well, he's trading in something which is consuming massive amounts of resources and electricity. Again, going to figure out how, there's never a free lunch, how that's all going to work out. So to me, I think what we're going to end up with is that he's going to go to jail. His girlfriend's going to do a little bit of time. The other guy's going to do a little of time. And sadly, most of the people who put money into it are going to get screwed. The lessons that we can all learn is finding ways to make it easier for customers to access services is always a winning strategy. So whatever business you're in, the takeaway from this guy isn't let's go create an exchange and rip people off. The takeaway is that find markets where there are barriers to getting services done. And by doing that, what you'll figure out is that there's money to be made, real money to be made, by taking care of that barrier to entry and moving that forward. And if you do that, you're going to be more successful. So hopefully what you have learned a lesson is, and this is the sad lesson, is that when somebody offers you a crazy rate of return and guarantees it, in all likelihood, that is a scam. Always has been, always will be. Be smart, be alert, be aware. And this has been the Raging Verbalist number 162. And for myself, John Paul Mendoza, Dr. Speed Selling, and the ever lovely Sandra, we hope that you'll never be in a situation where you get ripped off like all these other people have. And hopefully this will work out. We'll do some updates on this when it becomes appropriate, but just wanted to put it out there now. Early on, there was just too much chatter and not enough information and all of that. So until next time, to the Raging Verbalist, take care. We'll see you next week.